They were the largest social class in Victorian England, forming approximately 80% of its population. However, even though they formed a majority, differences did exist within their ranks. Possessing various skills and abilities, one could not generalize their occupations or abilities. Today in Victorian Diary, let us discover the working class people that lived in Victorian England. The many faces of working class Victorians. In the vast majority of circumstances, working class Victorians were not landowners, managers, or employed professionals. Alternatively, these people were not destitute, paupers, or otherwise without employment. Within the working classes, there were different types of labor. Apprentices and craftsmen were regarded as the highest level of working class people. Often members of trade associations, their occupations ranged from plasters and plumbers to the office clerks of businesses. If an income could provide it, they enjoyed small luxuries such as a dedicated servant to help manage their household. These families wished to imitate the status of the middle classes whenever possible, usually relying on one income to provide for their lifestyle. They attempted to distinguish themselves from others deemed below their means and skills within the working classes. Such strict social distinctions mirrored the rigid class system of the time, with oppressive social barriers for those wishing to improve their standing in Victorian England. Below these households, in the working classes, were the semi-skilled, though gainfully employed. The middle working class did not enjoy the prestige of apprentices or craftspeople, and were employed in occupations such as shop employees. Nevertheless, they were able to sustain their families on one income. The lowest rank of working class people in Victorian England was the one most people today associate with that category. These were the unskilled laborers in precarious positions. Their employment was anything but secure, and their status often changed on a seasonal or even daily basis. Their occupations included farm labor positions, seamstresses, factory and dockhand workers. For the lower levels of the working classes, both parents would be working, and oftentimes their children as well. Conditions of the working class. Unfortunately, living conditions for many of the working classes in Victorian-era towns and cities was horrific. Housing mainly consisted of overcrowded rental spaces, with even larger families surviving within 1 or 2 rooms. Inside these quarters, there was a lack of decent sanitation like running water or proper indoor toilets. Therefore, working class people experienced greater rates of illness and death compared to the higher economic classes. Though as the Victorian age came to a close, efforts were made to bring sewers and better sanitation methods to the general public. In Victorian England, there were no modern social security benefits, with healthcare, pensions, and similar government support non-existent. For those working class people fortunate enough to have an occupation, there was little job security. Many employers exploited workers in various ways with their immense power. Oftentimes, these same employers owned the premises their workers rented. Working class families could not miss one rental due date or they would lose their accommodations. As a result, a cycle of debt often accompanied their poverty, pawning possessions and even engaging in unsavory activities just to make the rental payments. Jobs for the working classes were poorly compensated, with grueling long hours and the constant threat of being dismissed or laid off at a moment's notice. Once a job was lost, there was no recourse for reinstatement, with the added possibility of sinking into extreme poverty. Combined with unsafe working conditions, serious injuries and even death were commonplace. When it came to compensating employees, one was fortunate to receive cash wages. Many employers would subjugate their workers further by paying them with tokens. These tokens could only be spent at the employer's shop, which sold poor quality goods at inflated prices. Such was the daily struggle for survival as working class people in Victorian England. Thank you for watching this episode of the Victorian Diary. We show regular episodes which reveal life in the Victorian age. So please remember to like, subscribe, share, and reveal this knowledge of Victorian times for the benefit of everyone.